Hey, welcome back. It's JWalter here. Sales of brand new houses in the US faltered in November. No, wait. New home sales rose in November. Wait a second. Sales actually tanked. Or did new home sales surge ahead? In today's video, I'm going to tell you exactly what happened because as you can see, it's very hard to tell what actually happened when just reading news headlines. And lucky for you, I spent hours researching this for you guys so you don't have to. So please hit the like button if you do appreciate that. And as a token of my appreciation for doing that, here's a photo of two cute puppies. With that said, let's begin today's video. As you guys all know, we need a huge increase of houses listed for sale in order to cool off this hot housing market. One source of home sales and also housing inventory should be coming from brand new home construction. The U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development and the U.S. Census Bureau announced a few days ago an update for November's new home sales, home prices, and housing inventory. They reported that sales of new single-family houses in November were 744,000 on a seasonally adjusted basis. This was a 12.4% increase from the previous month, but a 14% decrease from 1 year ago. This fell short of analyst predictions who were predicting or forecasting 770,000 home sales. However, the 744,000 home sales that were recorded in November were the highest levels since April of 2021. And the number of home sales varied greatly by each of the four major regions. So have a look at this. From October to November of 2021, sales dropped by 25.4% in the Midwest, and that was the only region that recorded a decrease. In stark contrast, sales surged by 53.2% in the West. Also, when looking at year-over-year changes, the Midwest fell by almost 45%, and the South decreased by 21.2%. Part of the reason why home sales have slowed compared to 1 year ago is due to supply-side constraints. So home builders don't want to sell a house if they can't construct it on time. So for example, as you guys all know, I'm a real estate agent in the greater Sacramento area, and I have a client who's interested in buying a brand new house. And when I reached out to that builder, they told me it's going to take about 8 months to build the house, but their contract allows for up to 12 months to complete the house. The big risk, in my opinion, for a home buyer looking to buy a brand new house right now, when the house is not going to be constructed for 8 to 12 months from now, is that you do not know what your housing payment is going to be. This is because, of course, you can't lock in your mortgage rate until you're much closer to the house being actually completed. In any case, going back to this report from the U.S. Census Bureau, there were a few alarming figures in this report that I wanted to report to you guys, and here they are. Number one, and you probably haven't heard this because the mass media is not reporting this information to you guys, so there's something you should definitely be aware of though. The median sold price of new houses in the U.S. reached yet another all-time high in November. Plus, this is the second month in a row of home price records being broken. The median sold price for brand new houses in the US increased by 19% compared to 1 year ago. And if you want to talk about a severe lack of affordable housing in America, have a look at this. The median sold price in 2019 for a brand new house was $321,500. Now it's almost $100,000 more than that, or $416,000. Part of the reason why we're seeing these record high home prices for brand new houses is due to a larger share of more expensive houses that have been sold. As you guys all know, I support my claims with data, so let's have a look at how 2019 compares to November of 2021. This report from the U.S. Census Bureau breaks down home sales by price range, and this is super important. So for home sales sold between $150,000 and $199,000, that represented 8% of all new home sales in 2019. However, have a look at November of 2021. It has a Z. That means there were less than 500 houses sold that month, or a share of less than 0.5% of all new home sales. So in other words, sales in this price range were basically non-existent this year. So again, for the price range of $150,000 to $199,000, the share of home sales was 8% in 2019 versus less than 0.5% this November. This trend is the same when we look at the $200,000 to $299,000 price range. In 2019, the share was 33% versus only 14% this November. In contrast, these figures are reversed when looking at the upper range of this market. So for new houses that sold for over $500,000, The share this November was about double the percentage we saw from 2019. Therefore, we're seeing about double the number of new houses sold in the upper range compared to 2019. Another reason why new home prices are so high right now is due to the fact that inventory of pre-owned houses or existing houses is still very low. Therefore, prices in newly built houses are still rising as home buyers move to new home builds rather than buying an existing house. The high home prices is obviously due to rising building material costs, as I mentioned in my video from last week. And of course, home builders are passing on these high building costs onto home buyers. For example, lumber futures prices are now about double what they were at the start of November. They went from about $573 on November 1st to now well over $1,000. This increase more or less started when the U.S. Commerce Department announced it would double import duties on Canadian lumber in 2022. These higher tariffs on lumber get passed down to home builders who ultimately pass it down to home buyers. This makes it even more expensive to buy a brand new house. So in other words, home buyers are getting screwed. Okay, changing gears slightly, let's talk about housing inventory for brand new houses, and there's also a myth I wanted to bust. The month supply of housing inventory in November was 6.5 months. This means at the current sales pace, all new homes listed for sale would be sold in 6.5 months if no new houses were listed for sale. This number can be deceiving because a 6.5 month supply of houses would imply a balanced real estate market between home buyers and home sellers, the builders. However, this is not the case because the U.S. Census Bureau reports a home for sale is when a home is being built to be sold and a permit has been approved, or work has begun on the footings or foundation in areas where permits are not required, and a sales contract has not been signed. In other words, included in these inventory numbers from the U.S. Census Bureau are some lots in which the builder has decided to only pour the concrete foundation, but is holding off on constructing the house. So the 6.5 months of housing supply for brand new houses is a bit deceiving because some of those houses are not really for sale. And we can see this when looking at the total number of new houses for sale by construction type. So the number of houses for sale but construction has not yet started has increased in 7 out of the last 8 months. This isn't telling us the whole story though, because the number of new houses for sale that were under construction have increased in 9 out of the last 10 months. I'll be sure to follow this in the coming months and report this information to you guys because when we see an increase of inventory of houses that are under construction, that could be a sign of weakening buyer demand. But more importantly, if we see an increase of housing inventory, meaning houses that are not sold, but they're already completed and ready to be moved in, that's also a big problem. And I'll definitely keep you posted regarding that. But so far, that's not what we're seeing. This is because the number of new houses for sale that are not sold, but are completed, has more or less been flat all year. To summarize, it appears that home builders are still facing an uphill battle with increasing costs, labor shortages, and supply chain delays. This, of course, makes it more expensive to build houses, and those costs are being passed down to home buyers. And of course, the big question is, how long will home buyers be willing to pay these record high home prices? Make sure you're subscribed, and I'll definitely keep you posted. Also, if you got any value out of this video whatsoever, then please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And also consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Hope you have an awesome day, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.